you hear me okay? Testing. Oh, there we are. Good evening, everyone. I really appreciate everyone coming tonight. We love to start off our board meetings with our recognition. We do students first. And we have so many people here, and I love to see this thing full of positive energy. So the first we're going to do is Austin Berg. And we're going to show you the slides here. So when I call your name, please come up. We're going to give you a certificate. Please stay up here because we want to take a picture with you right after, okay? So Austinberg, these are awesome Austinberg Eagle Awards. It's given to students who demonstrate kindness, work hard in and out of the classroom every day, and have a positive attitude, and exceed expectations in all that they do. So we have a Raven Boudet. Please come up. Get your certificate and just stay up there. We take a picture. Oh, gosh, she's cute. Carlisle Carruthers. Audrey Fundis. Please come up. Gabriella Palinkas. And Varley Winthrop. Congratulations. Now, I have to admit to something embarrassing. Do you see that picture up there? Now, that's the picture from last month. So when I woke up this morning, I'm like, I want to wear something different. Because who wants to wear the same outfit? Well, I have other jackets besides this one. So I put it on, and I come, and I look at the pictures this morning. I'm like, the only thing different is my shoes. I got new shoes. But it's just quite an embarrassing thing. But, I wanted to tell you just wait in case someone noticed, but I'm sure you don't notice what I wear last month. Just crazy. All right, let's move on to something more exciting. We will do a cork, and I'm going to call you up and say something nice about you. So the first person is Mason Copeland. Please come on up, Mason. So Mason consistently participates in class discussions, follows direction, puts forth his best effort in all his work. He is kind and respectful to his classmates, serves as a positive role model at school. He comes to school daily with a positive attitude and is ready to learn. Congratulations, Mason. And the next two we're going to bring up together, Jimmy Doherty and Elena Drzlinski. Please come on up. Okay, Elena and Jimmy are the true definition of PACS leaders. They're always trying to help others complete their work, share with their classmates, lead by example every day. They show respect, responsibility, and care for their peers, making our school a better place for everyone. That's awesome. Congratulations. Eloise Lawson. Eloise shines as a good friend to all. Not only does Eloise stay on task and completes everything asked of her, she also supports her peers by making sure they feel included. So congratulations again to you. And then we have Seth Mena. student who consistently gives your best effort to all assignments. He takes great pride in his work and participates in classes often. He is a kind and respectful student to his teachers and peers. He also has earned honor roll each grading period so far this year. And that is cool. Congratulations. Then we have Thomas Jansen. Thomas, are you here? Good job, Thomas. Tommy is an extremely hardworking student that is a delight to work with. Tommy has been a positive role model for the classmates, has persevered through some very tough times this school year, but has done an awesome job. So congratulations, Thomas. And Aviana Miller. Come on down, Aviana. All right. Aviana has overcome several obstacles this year and continues to grow and make strides academically every day. She's a strong young lady that perseveres even when new challenges come her way. Again, congratulations.
But you do believe it, though.
I do believe it. Yeah, he messes with me every time. Okay.
Just
So,
tests.
yeah, you're testing me, I know. We'll now go on to the high school. First person I want to bring up is Nate Hutchins, who's been assisting Officer Gale. He assisted all year Officer Gale with 8th grade basketball team. He was there every day, and he volunteered. So congratulations, and thanks for doing that. All right, so I'm going to call up these 3 students, and I'm going to explain what they did, and it's unbelievable what they did. I'm so proud of these students. Geneva High School proudly recognizes the outstanding efforts of the GHS Key Club, led by Zach Dunn, Bella Fusco, and Lucy Peterson. If you can come on down. For their recent Hats for Hospice fundraiser held in honor of our beloved Geneva High School science teacher, Miss Wendy Booth, who passed this year. Through the generosity of students, staff, and the greater community, this year's event raised a record-breaking $1,335 special recognition to Mr. Yost's first period, which raised $732. All proceeds will be donated to the Hospice of the Western Reserve, supporting the compassionate care they provide to families throughout our region. The success of this fundraiser reflects the strong spirit of service that defines Geneva High School and the meaningful impact Mrs. Booth had on our community. We commend the Key Club members and advisors for their leadership and thank everyone who participated, making this heartfelt initiative such a tremendous success. So congratulations, guys. Thank you. All right, now for our staff that we're honored to recognize. So for Austinburg, Stephanie McNeil, a first grade teacher. Are you here? Yes. Hi, Stephanie. Congratulations. Stephanie is a phenomenal teacher. She works so hard too and truly cares about her students. Her classroom always feels like a family. So thanks again, Stephanie. Cork, we have Brenda Cork, housekeeper. Is Brenda here? Thanks. So Brenda is always going above and beyond to help keep the school clean. She helps the teachers when needed and always quick to help Terry, who's our custodian, when she is out and need an extra set of hands. So thank you, Brenda. All right, GPS, Angie Myers, our fifth grade teacher. Are you here? Well, Angie did tell me she wasn't going to be here today, but Angie has gone above and beyond in her dedication to student success by fully embracing our new CKLA curriculum. Rather than simply following the manual, she has taken the time to deeply understand the knowledge-building structure of the program to best meet the diverse needs of her students. And then for the middle school, Marie Desmarius. Secretary, are you here? Yes, Marie. Now this is from a parent. Speaking as a parent and a coworker, Mary Beth runs a tight ship. Whether I send a note in the morning or call on my way, my kiddos is always walking in the door at the same time, and I do get her, let me see here, sorry. She has many appointments. Mary Beth is always efficient and kind in getting us in and out of the office. So congratulations, Marie. And our high school, John Barbo, science teacher. So John is an outstanding high school science teacher and truly deserves the Eagle Team Member of the Month. He has a genuine love for teaching, which inspires both his students and colleagues to strive for excellence. His positive attitude is contagious. He is consistently and generally upbeat, creating an encouraging environment for everyone around him. John goes above and beyond by developing new lessons, enhancing hand-on labs, and making learning exciting and meaningful. Outside the classroom, John volunteers his time on committees dedicated to improve our school and has been instrumental in supporting our athletic director and creating updated, high-quality environments for our athletes. He's dedicated and really deserves Eagle Team Member of the Month. So congratulations, John. Nicely done. And now I'm excited. At the board office here, we have Dr. Crystal Brisky, our Interim Director of Student Services. So Crystal has been a huge asset to the special education department. She's very knowledgeable. She's clear and concise in communicating the information that needs to be disseminated. She is compassionate and passionate about our students, and she really is serving them in the best way possible. So thank you to all of our staff winners. All right, that's all of our recognitions, so you are welcome to stay for the entire meeting, but if you're done being recognized and you'd like to leave, we'll give you some time to do that. So thank you for coming.
How you been? Good. Nice. Okay. I don't know. We need to get that taken off. Okay. I'll take care of it. Okay. Thanks. How you doing? Pretty good, Alex. Good. That's it? Just the end, correct? Yeah. It's supposed to be not an A. Oh, not an A. Thank you. Oh, at the end rather than the A.
Instead of an A. Yeah.
Take care of that tomorrow. Send it over. That's right, you are. We all are. What's that? Oh, I'm sure I could wrestle if somebody used my house. I could invite Mr. Ford. Okay, this is the portion of the meeting for public comments. If you would like to address the board, you're welcome to come and join us at the microphone. You'll need to state your name and address, and you'll have 5 minutes to address the board. If you'd like to do so, you can come forward at this time. Okay, yay. All right. Time for the report of the superintendent. Dr. Lombardo?
All right, and you could see up there, we're just going to go down the list for 6.1 we'll start. This is extremely exciting, and I'm very humbled and flattered by this. So I applied for a BASA Professional Development Scholarship. BASA is an organization that supports administrators, especially superintendents. And believe it or not, 3 superintendents from the state of Ohio got selected. There's 25 of us that are going to be going to Peru in July for a world educational tour, July 7th through the 15th. And it's a scholarship, so I have the opportunity to do that. They're going to pay for it, and I couldn't be more excited to represent Geneva High School there.
Fantastic. Congratulations.
Do you want a motion?
Yes, I will need a motion to approve that from the board, please.
So moved.
Yep, I'll second it.
Roll call?
Mr. Cooper?
Yes.
Mrs. Cybulski?
Yes.
Mrs. Krieg?
Yes.
Mr. Pierson?
Yes.
And Mr. Andrus?
Yes.
Congratulations, Dr. Lombardo.
Oh, thank you very much. For this one, we're taking 6.2 and 6.3 together. This is a final reading of our credit card policies. So I would need a motion and an approval on this.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? Any questions? All right, roll call, please.
Mrs. Cybulski?
Yes.
Mrs. Krieg?
Yes.
Mr. Pierson?
Yes.
Mr. Andrus?
Yes.
And Mr. Cooper?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, 6.4 is our GATA MOU on conference format. So you want to do the motion and then I can explain it? I'm sorry.
Motion, please.
I'll motion.
Second?
Discussion?
Okay, we've been talking with the union, and when I first got here, people talked about conferences and wanted to try a different type of format. Well, we came to a pilot for next year. It's a format where we're going to have 2 night conferences, and then we are going to do a morning conference from the morning through 11:30. We're going to try this new format to see how it works, but we're going to do this for a year, and everyone was agreeable, and the union did come up with a really good idea, and so we're really going to try it. So that's what this MOU allows us to do for next year.
Any questions? All right, roll call, please.
Mrs. Krieg?
Yes.
Mr. Pierson?
Yes.
Mr. Andrus?
Yes.
Mr. Cooper?
Yes.
And Mrs. Cybulski?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, well, we're looking for approval of our school calendar for 26-27. You may recall the last couple months I have brought forth feedback from the community. We had over 120 community members respond. At least that many staff members responded. Here's what they thought would be most appropriate for next year, taking into consideration Geneva on the Lake students are working, as well as the county fair that happens. You will see that our new parent-teacher conferences are on here already. Because you just approved it, we can now approve the calendar for the 26-27 school year.
Could I get a motion, please?
So moved.
I'll second.
Any other questions or discussion about that?
I just appreciate the feedback that we've gotten. Just shows our connection to the community, and we're listening to the feedback that we're receiving. So I'm excited to have engagement on this decision.
Absolutely. Yes. All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Pierson?
Yes.
Mr. Andrus?
Yes.
Mr. Cooper?
Yes.
Mrs. Cybulski?
Yes.
And Mrs. Krieg?
Yes.
All right, 6.6, this is the first reading of the new policies that have come out in February. We do practice 2 readings before we approve any policies. These are up on our website, so you can take a look at those, but this is the first reading. Again, we can answer questions now, or you can send me those questions. The final reading will be April 22nd when we have the next board meeting. We do have the AI policy, Brock, that we talked about is up for here as well.
We did?
Yes.
I'm just joking.
For the
Yeah, no, we
first,
Just for discussion.
yeah, just for the first reading.
And thank you. I want to really quickly thank everyone. Not only was the boilerplate made correctly, but I want to give a big shout out to Jared Brigard, who not only had answered questions we didn't have yet, but I brought 4 concerns, and by the time we had read it, he had all of those plus a loophole fixed in a meeting that lasted 30 minutes. So shout out for getting that compiled and in completion for us today for the first reading.
All right, any questions?
I do have a question about class rank. Are we going with weighted tiebreakers? But I think it says here that we are not.
Jen, do you want to come up to the mic?
I'm so sorry. These kids get competitive. I'm not trying to get you guys on me, you know what I mean? No offense.
Yeah, we met as a group and we talked about right now how it is, do we have a lot of tiebreakers? And we didn't feel like there were any, so we thought that we would just go with the next, would be ACT and SAT scores. And then GPA for college preparatory and coursework. And we do have weighted scores, but I see that says non-weighted scores.
But we are going to go with weighted.
I think we should. I think we need to.
I
get
do
that-
too.
Yeah. we
And
need to
that's the only
keep
reason I
that
bring it up
weighted.
is
Yeah.
it was a really good conversation that we
Yeah.
had with
Right.
President Craig about it and with you
Yeah.
about it. And
So
I think
that was a
weighted.
mistake. We have to uncheck that piece.
Yes,
So,
that was what I
yeah.
was going to bring up as well.
yeah, because we do have weighted grades and that does level the playing field, so we don't have as many ties already, so.
All right, and this is why we have 2
Yeah.
readings,
Yes.
so this
so
is good.
Thank you for pointing that out.
No problem.
So we will make that change, and we'll point that out in April when we have the final reading. Okay, thank you very much. Thanks, Jen. All right, and this final one in our section 6, this is the approval of our open enrollment policy and interdistrict open enrollment application. These get approved every year. This follows our policy 5113.
I need a motion, please.
So moved.
I'll second. Any other discussion or questions?
Just to make it clear, we're going to prioritize the inner, correct?
Over
If
intra.
somebody wants to go from Austinburg to Cork,
That would be intra,
that'd
correct?
be interim, and that's first over outside, correct? I just want to make
Yes,
sure.
that's correct.
Thank you.
Looks like a 9-week minimum as codified here, so you'd have to be at the respective school for a minimum of 9 weeks, and wouldn't be able to return to the official school of residence until the end of that grading period.
So we generally look to see class sizes to make sure that we can accommodate, and we will do intra first, and then we'll look at outside.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Andrus.
Yes.
Mr. Cooper.
Yes.
Mrs. Cybulski.
Yes.
Mrs. Krieg.
Yes.
And Mr. Pierson.
Yes.
All right, let's move on to number 7, contracts. I'm real excited to, Shelley, myself, and Stephen Andrus, we went through the process of interviewing our architects for our athletic facility project, and I'm happy to say that we did select Then Design Architects Incorporated out of Willoughby. I personally have worked with them as well in the past. They do an awesome job. I had a great presentation and have some really creative options for us as we move forward with the athletic facilities project. So we wanted to approve them. And then Ryan Schmidt from Then Design is here to say a couple words.
I need a motion, please.
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Discussion? Can we talk a little bit about the differences between the presentations and why we went this direction?
Sure. Stephen, did you want to talk a little bit about?
You can go ahead and
Okay.
I'll elaborate a little bit more.
So we did interview 3 different architects. What we liked about Then Design is,
Who do we interview?
so we interviewed Then Design. We interviewed, help me guys.
GPD.
GPD
And BSHM.
and BSHM.
Okay.
All right, and as we looked at GPD, they have been working with us in the past and actually on this project. A couple things that I think they fell a little short on is they have been working with us and we were looking for some savings possibly with some of the work they've already done. They weren't willing to bring forth that piece, which was a big deal. And Stephen, you talked about the grade. Can you talk a little bit more about that since you're familiar with the grade out there and some of those
Yeah, so
questions?
they made a mention of having to build the grade up, and currently we're already, actually above the final grade of our current parking lot, so therefore we really won't have to bring in as much material as what they were suggesting, along with also retaining walls possibly being needed, which is a huge expense, plus an eyesore and maintenance, just nightmare. They also suggested having to move the road, just a few things that I found a little bit unsettling.
Are we finding that we're not going to have to do those things?
So we have a lot of other, definitely options, small little, I don't know, quirks that we can do that we can, possibly not have to do those big expenses, and we can spend them other ways. That's
Then
Way more
Design,
beneficial.
they presented, one of the options was kind of just the movement of the field.
Offset
kind
it a
of
little bit.
offsetting it a little bit more, so the driveway did not have to be moved. It's possible that maybe some of the field events might have to go in a different place. They also were the only company that put in an earlier start date or potential earlier start date to try to do some of the work, maybe starting in September if we can get the design phase done. So again, you know, that was kind of important to us, something new that we hadn't seen from anybody. We did have, 9 companies submit RFQs, and we did interview the top 3 that we liked.
I will say one more thing that Then Design has is they have an internal communications person. Although we do have a part-time communications person, it's included in their package. Well, they'll do videos, they'll do above videos as they're building. And they do help us with language, and I thought that was really, really neat. I don't know, when we did the interviews, no one had something like that. So I thought that was really unique and something that we could really utilize here in Geneva.
Great.
Plus location, they're also in Willoughby, so they're really close to our site, and I spoke with them, and they will be visiting it quite often, and they, some of their designs they did, I figured were right up our alley of what we need done here.
What, have they done facilities near us?
Yes.
Who have they done?
Yeah, what was the most recent one? You recall, it was,
Oh, gosh, he's
It was
right
a-
over there.
it
I
was a
bet he knows.
yeah, it was a sports stadium.
Can we bring him up?
Sure.
Yeah, come on up, Ryan. Yeah, come on up.
Get on over here.
So we're talking about you, but you know more about you than we do, so come on up.
I do. I'm Ryan Schmidt with TDA Architecture. Thank you so much for having me tonight. I worked on Spire a little bit. We were there at the very beginning, so we worked through all the construction that was out there originally. We've done work on just about any athletic fields that are in kind of the Lake County, far east side of Cleveland area. We've done a couple $1 billion worth of school work over the last 10 years, so it's kind of what we do. We have expertise. The team we're bringing to this, it's top notch. It's our best team. We've worked on stuff from as small as like rec department type stuff, but we've worked on pro fields. We've worked with some documentation that was put together to try to draw national teams to the Cleveland area as well. So we've run the gamut. We've done the work. We're very familiar with the area. We have folks that live in your community up on the lake and such. So we have people in the area as well. So we are going to be out here as required to do this project. We did see some potential opportunities for some savings in this project. Some minor adjustments to keep the heart and the soul of the project the way it was, but maybe just tweak the program just a little bit to get it to fit in that site a little bit better, to push ahead your schedule, to make best use of your dollars and cents. And so, like you were saying, you can get more with less. That's what you always want to be able to do. So, we're ready to hit the ground running as soon as hopefully we get approved. So. Any questions for me?
TDA is an employee-owned company, meaning some of
We
the
are.
engineers, as well as the expertise is in codification, local ordinance, marketing, they own the company?
We just went through with that. We are an ESOP now, 100% employee-owned firm. I'm an owner. All the folks you're going to be seeing are owners. It's a nice attribute that we have. It's a nice feature that we have. It's something that means people working for our firm, they have a lot of skin in the game. It's very important to everybody that's there. So that's the passion we're going to bring to this too, because we want this to be as good as it could possibly be. Our best project's always our next project. This is going to be our best project when we're done with it. So that's our commitment to you.
And I have a peculiar question.
Sure, I
So
like
the
it.
school has 2 8-inch drainage sewer drains that go to the road. This by no means will over encumber either of those 2 8-inch
It can't.
drains. Okay,
It
awesome.
can't. Yeah, the way these projects work, the way the EPA sets up their restrictions, our post-construction output has to be similar to what the pre-construction is. So we have to provide detention on-site as required to make that happen. The beauty of what you do have some real estate over there. You have some kind of peripheral spaces. We can make use of those. We can collect water as needed, protect those areas as we need, and make sure that we don't disrupt any, stormwater, onto other people's property.
Thank you.
Can't do that. So, thank you. Any other questions?
Oh, I have questions.
Yes.
So moving field events, talk to me more about that. What are you thinking?
So I'm thinking just discus and shot put. Potentially shot put wouldn't have to, but as a thrower back in the day, I like to be near both of my events if I could do it. And the reason for that, in some of the original concepts I had seen, it was kind of pinched in between the road and the back of the stadium. There really wasn't enough distance in there to get discus in there in a way I feel comfortable with. It's a little too tight. Discus is not perfect. If you've ever watched anybody throw discus, it's a metal disc, it's very heavy, and it could go anywhere. And so you want to make sure you have some space. So this would be something where you move that across basically just north of the road. I think the thing that we'll be able to do is create a nice space, a nice plaza out front, so that there is a nice reception for people to the north to generally use the stadium to the south. So just create some sort of interaction between those two areas, so it doesn't feel like when I was in high school forever ago, we'd have to walk blocks to get to the spot where we'd throw discus, and so throwers get used to being put at the back of the campus, but we're just literally moving them right next door. So there's the opportunity for a parent that has running events going on in the stadium to just walk a short distance across and see, their children throwing as well. So.
Okay, my next question is, I'm just going to play devil's advocate here, because I'm sure you've heard of a district just to the east of us, Ashtabula City and Lakeside, with their issues with the snow and all that, okay? So we've talked about the land and building that wall and moving the road and all of these things, and although it looks like a cost savings right now, if we decide to not go down that path, and this is a cost savings move right now, on down the road, is this going to be an issue of something that we have not looked ahead to say, should have thought this forward just a little bit more and cost us money insurance-wise along far down the road with flooding or issues to our facility or drainage or whatever else we haven't foreseen at this moment?
No.
Insurance-wise,
No,
claim-wise.
no. I mean, from the standpoint of design, what we're going to do, the first thing we do is we'll get the survey. So what the survey is going to do is give us the actual grades. I think it was mentioned that you do have more topography out there than you probably need. You can relocate some of that dirt, even things out a little bit more. We probably won't have to raise the dirt that much over in that area, but we're still got to collect stormwater. We still got to do all those things. Right. The thing that I didn't like about some of the initial thoughts, and we've looked at it, the idea of kind of adjusting that road, it's a viable solution. But what it does do is it exposes you to all that work that goes along with the roadway. Sure. I don't like opening a can of worms I don't have to. That's one that when you redo the roadway, you redo a roadway. You don't do a stadium and a partial rework of a road. That's not how I like to do things. So this is all about process, doing the right work at the right time. So I don't think there's going to be anything that we do with this project that should cause you any issues down the road. Like, for example, electrically. As we look at lights, our engineers look at all the calculations to make sure that the infrastructure we're putting in for electrical is adequate for whatever we're doing now and in the future. So you oversize it, you provide some additional conduits there, you make sure you have everything you need. So 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years down the road, concepts of how that gets used change. You decide to build another structure out there. You do whatever you need to do. You have stuff in place so that you're not kind of hamstrung by decisions we made today. So it's not a perfect science, but we do as well as we can to make sure that we limit any of those exposures as much as possible. So, make sense?
It does. I just
Good.
wanted to ask while we were here and open, thinking ahead of.
Those kind of questions are the right questions. You don't want to do something now that you regret in 5 years. I can't. None of us here want to do those sorts of things. You want to, at the end of the job, say you did all the right stuff, you asked all the right questions, you had all the right meetings, met with all the right people, made all the right decisions, so that it's as successful as it possibly could be. So that's our goal.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's fantastic. Any other questions for me?
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank
All right. I know. Anybody else? Anything else? All right, roll call.
Mr. Cooper?
Yes.
Mrs. Cybulski?
Yes.
Mrs. Krieg?
Yes.
Mr. Pierson?
Yes.
Mr. Andrus?
Yes.
And I will say that the RFQs for construction manager at risk, which is step 2 of the process, they are due tomorrow by 2 o'clock. So we will go ahead and look at those I think you do help, right? And you help design, with that.
Yeah, we'll
So
be in touch and have you on the interview team.
we did receive 3 today, so we'll see what we receive tomorrow.
All right, excellent. 8 is personnel. We're going to take all this together. 8.1, 8.2. We're going to take all these down to 8.5.
Special shout out to Miss Adams, who's retiring. 30 years of teaching with our school district, so congratulations to her. Could I get a motion, please?
I move.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Mrs. Cybulski?
Yes.
Mrs. Krieg?
Yes.
Mr. Pierson?
Yes.
Mr. Andrus?
Yes.
And Mr. Cooper?
Yes.
Okay. Superintendent's report. Dr. Lombardo?
Yes, here we go. We have 2 of our superintendent student advisory council representatives. We have Max, sophomore, and Eva, our senior. Come on down. And we want to hear from you.
She's a sophomore.
You're only a sophomore?
She's just that
I'm
good.
sorry.
It's always
You're so mature. I thought you were a senior. I'll make a change on that for the record, but go ahead.
Hello. For people who don't know me, I'm Max Galeazzo. First, I want to say I appreciate Geneva for making such a great impact on my life. To Mr. Lombardo greeting me on Wednesdays, and any teachers greeting me in the morning and saying good morning to me. I want to congratulate Tanner Williams for making it to states for wrestling, which is a pretty big achievement for only being a junior. And then I want to say, girls softball, their first varsity match is on Saturday against Maplewood at home if anybody wants to come and watch. And then outdoor track on Saturday the 28th is their first meet at Perry, which is a relay. So if you want to come out to that, that'd be much appreciated. Thank you.
I'm Eva Pfeiffer. I'm a sophomore. So Geneva has given me the opportunity to be in so many things I love, including cheer, show choir, theater, philanthropy club, student council, and much more. I would also like to mention how big of an impact the cafeteria ladies have had on me. I have an allergy where I can't eat the normal school lunches, but the cafeteria staff makes me lunch every day, and I appreciate how much they do for me. The Superintendent's Advisory Council, along with the Geneva Foundation, had a very successful pancake breakfast this past Saturday. And the Geneva Thespians just put on Alice by Heart this past weekend. And they're also starting 1X very soon. And the Philanthropy Club has a check presentation tomorrow for the nonprofits we decided to donate to. And last but not least, the choir is going to a competition and spending 4 days in New York City next week and experiencing the many sights of New York. Thank you.
And I'm sorry, Eva, forgive me. And we do have Sarah Cybulski that wanted to come up and talk a little bit.
Should sit very strategically. Chloe's coming with her.
Who is?
Chloe Dodge.
Chloe Dodge is coming with her.
Like Dr. Lombardo said, I'm Sarah, this is Chloe. We're media and marketing students in Mr. McCoy's class, and we just wanted to shout out a couple of the projects we've been working on with local businesses.
So I've been working a lot with Scribblers, which is a small coffee company here if you don't know, and we are reaching out, doing drinks of the month, stamp cards, and any other small projects that they want us to do to help promote their business and Geneva's name.
We're also recently, we just started working with Mary's Kitchen down at Geneva on the Lake, so we're helping them revamp all their social medias, and we're gonna go eat some good breakfast and make some content for them very soon, so keep a lookout on that.
Nice job.
Good job, girls.
And then Mr. McCoy's class, I did get a chance to see them present to Mary's Kitchen, and it was just phenomenal. Because Mary's Kitchen will even tell you they're not real good with the communication, and what the kids produced was just absolutely amazing. I was so impressed. So good job, Mr. McCoy and students. That was awesome. All right, well, I am very excited to present Julie Ramos and Joe Specia, who's been really helping us with our Family Resource Center. So if you guys would like to come up, I'll give you that.
Clap before. I feel pulled here. So good evening, everyone. I'm Julie Ramos. Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for having us today.
Thank you for being here.
Good evening, Joe Specia. I am a senior citizen. So anyway.
So we're going to go ahead and get started with our
jump right
agenda, ladies and gentlemen.
Why not? What we're going to do for you this evening is we're going to outline for you what we've been up to, where we're going, and what we anticipate happening over the next several months. The agenda there in front of you we'll walk through and we'll share with you all that we're doing. But as an opening, I would say that the vision of Dr. Lombardo and the district is to bring to the district a family resource center. And we're going to describe what that is and what that means. And really, it's a big project that will support and help the students, the families, and the entire Geneva community. So that's what we're here to do, and that's what we're going to share with you this evening. So with that,
We go to the goals.
our goals are very simple, to establish that center, and that center will provide health care, behavioral health, and essential services to the entire community with the focus on the school and the students. You're a little quicker than me. There we go. Okay. Our goal is to support the family and family stability. Here's what we've learned, and our experience is this. We've built these centers in other places. And what we learned is if you simply build what some people call a school-based health center, we serve a particular segment of the community, but we don't serve the entire community. So for example, if we're serving students for dental care, there's a pretty good chance that the rest of their family can be served as well. And the goal of the Family Resource Center is to serve every and all people in the area. And then finally, we want to create a hub in which the school is the centerpiece, and we connect with the business community, we connect with the social service community, we connect with the healthcare community, and we connect with everybody who's going to need the services and the supports that the Family Resource Center can provide. So our process, as Julie has me moving here, we have conducted, and what we do is we do a community needs assessment. And to provide for you some backdrop and background, over the past month and a half, roughly, we've talked to over 100 members of the Geneva community. That would include students, that would include staff, that includes community members, and the social service agencies, legislative folks, and local government. Through these focus groups, they tell us what they need, what you need. We don't come in with an idea that this is what we're going to build you. We find out what Geneva needs, we build for Geneva. So then once we have that information's been gathered, and in fact that report was done for Dr. Lombardo, and he shared with the board, I believe, at the last meeting. Then we go through the process of doing a preliminary plan, a programming plan. We're going to talk about that. We do the work in working with architects, and interesting that the gentleman from TDA is now gone, but TDA is our architect that does preliminary work for us pro bono at no cost, so that's a nice piece of that puzzle. Then we're also in the process right now of doing partnership development. So recently, in fact, Dr. Lombardo joined me. We were at the Family and Children's First Council meeting. We have talked to local government. We've talked to state government. We have talked to about a half a dozen or 10 social service agencies and some healthcare agencies. And then in addition, we talked about the legislative outreach. We'll talk about that in detail. So, needs assessment. We do several things. What we'll do is we'll do a district data review. So what does your data tell us? What does attendance tell us? What does behavior tell us? What do student achievement scores tell us? What's the message there? How do we use that information? Then we do community surveys, and we put together an online community survey for people who couldn't come to our focus group meetings. Then we do focus group meetings, and we talked about that already, and we get some anecdotal insights from local providers. We have the local providers tell us what they see happening in Geneva, in the Geneva area. And then putting all that together, we do a feasibility assessment. We do analysis to decide what are the priorities. So if we start tomorrow, what are the 2, 3, 4 services that we have to have in place first? Knowing full well that over time we'll add services, but what are the priorities? The initial program design, this is what the priorities told us, by the way. Priorities told us that behavioral and mental health services are a must. They came out on every single survey that we did in every single focus group. Primary health care access was key and important. Interesting fact about Geneva, only 31% of students in the district have had a primary care visit in the last year. So that leaves 2/3 of the students in the district who don't get a primary care visit. Part of the goal of the Family Resource Center is to ensure that every single student gets the primary care services they likely need. Dental care partnerships, that becomes critical. In our experience, and I can't say this positively data-wise for Geneva, but in our experience, dental care is a oftentimes missed piece of this puzzle. We see students for the first time seeing the dentist in the 4th and the 5th grade. And that is way too late for kids to be getting dental care services. Food and clothing pantry services are always a need in every community, and then family support and referral services. That's what we learned through our focus group meetings and work with the district thus far. So the facility plan, and this is interesting now this is some of the work that the Board of Education did years ago, Dr. Lombardo is capitalizing on, is you have a house on the high school property. Okay, it's I believe a white house. Mm-hmm. Okay, and we have toured that and we've shared that information with our architectural folks, and our architectural folks did a preliminary assessment, and this is what they would suggest to you. The upstairs, which has its own entrance from the main road, can be renovated for medical exam rooms, counseling office space, offices, and education space. And we'll describe that to you. The downstairs, which has it essentially is a walkout basement, is where they would recommend a food and clothing pantry. The beauty of the space is you have separate entrances for each at this point in time. Okay, so if you're coming in for a dentist office appointment, you don't have to go through the pantry. If you're going to the pantry, you don't have to go through the medical exam rooms. The exterior is going to need some work because there's some parking on the main road. According to the architects, our view, bad idea. We're going to have to do some parking and do some work around the back of that building to create the space that will be adequate. And then we'll also have to create some space that will be designed to support healthcare delivery and community services. Where we've been thus far, as far as community agency partnerships, and I will tell you, our experience is this: the Ashtabula County services are welcoming, interested, and they want to participate. And I would say, and you may think, oh, of course they do. Okay, we have been in other counties where they don't want to play. Okay, so you're very fortunate. You're in a great spot right now because the community services in this county want to participate in this process. And I would tell you with 100% certainty. The Ashtabula Community Foundation, we've worked with them and talked with them. United Way of Ashtabula County, the Appalachian Children's Coalition, and for your information, Ashtabula County is considered an Appalachian community, which opens the doors to funding and fundraising and all sorts of things through the coalition. The Family and Children's First Council that Dr. Lombardo and I attended, and Mrs. Ramos as well, attended, and every single member at the council has expressed an interest in working with us. And in fact, we have a series of meetings with those folks next week. Signature Health, who right now looks like the primary care partner We've met with them. The Geneva team has met with them, and they're anxious and ready to start. They would be the primary care, mental health support, and dental services provider. And we have a relationship with Ohio Medicaid and community agencies. And very recently, we've linked everybody together. And in fact, Shelley and Crystal have a meeting with Medicaid of Ohio tomorrow. How about that? So it's perfect. And then the rest of our work has to do with community support and fundraising, and we'll talk about that. Oh, we're on it. Okay.
You don't get a breath.
By the way, Julie is my boss. She doesn't tell me what to do. That's why I'm talking. She decided that I'm doing the talking tonight. What we have done thus far is Julie and I have written a state capital funding grant to the state legislator every 2 years, opposite the general fund grant or the general fund process. The state puts out a capital grant request. This year, Ohio has $4.2 billion in that budget. We've asked for a chunk of that money to be used to do the renovation of the house that we talked about before. In addition, we've written 2 federal grants through Senator Houston's office, one for purposes of transportation. One of the things we learned in the focus groups is transportation is a challenge. 93 square miles, roughly?
92, 93, yeah.
Right? 93 square miles, not everybody has access to transportation. Public transportation is at best limited. So we've written a grant through Senator Houston's office to create some transportation access and to do some additional renovation work if necessary. And then we're working with the local foundation partners, and oftentimes what they will tell us, and these are local foundations from the variety of places we work, is they'll say, so we'll do a matching. If you come up with $50,000, we'll give you $50,000. So our goal through the state and federal grants is to come up with the matching dollars before we go to the local folks for an exact ask. We have in place, at least in a preliminary way, healthcare partnership agreements, and we're going to talk about the funding for you very briefly. And then we have community support and some fundraising agreements going on. Now, we'll talk about the funding relationship because oftentimes the community will say, wait a minute, you guys do math, English, science, and social studies. What is this about doing physicals for athletes? And what is this about doing dental work? That's not your job. Well, it's not, okay? But what we do and the way we fund this very simply is this. What we have done previously in the agreement we work out with healthcare agencies is this. In the case, we'll use Signature Health as an example. Signature Health will come in, nurse practitioners, mental health counselors, dentists, dental hygienists, and so forth, and they will see every student, every person, mainly students, at no cost, students who are Medicaid eligible. They'll make sure that they're signed up for Medicaid. They will bill Medicaid, and that's where they will get their funding for those students at no cost. So how about non-Medicaid eligible students? I think, Jen, I think you told me Medicaid eligibility in the community is 60%? Okay. Non-Medicaid eligible students will be seen for free too. So how does the healthcare agency get paid for that? Well, what we're recommending to the district is that the district charges the healthcare agency rent to use their space. It's your space, you charge rent. They pay you rent, you pay the non-Medicaid eligible students using that rent money. Our experience is it becomes a zero cost to the general fund because the healthcare agency will say, okay, so we're paying this rent, we'll charge back that amount, okay, in order to see all kids. So at the end of the day, a year from now or 2 years from now, as you sit here and somebody raises their hand and say, wait a minute, you run this family resource center, how much does it cost the district? What it would cost the district, what we are evaluating and estimating right now, is the cost of the heat, the lights, the water, and cleaning. And that's something you're pretty much going to do anyway with that space. Now, we've put together what we would consider a pretty aggressive implementation timeline, but it all has to do with the funding. We expect that the funding that we secure through the state capital grant or through the federal grants will come together sometime in April, not beyond the end of April. That's the case. We select our design and development team. We tell them we have X dollars. They do the drawings, they do the work, they give us an estimate for the renovation. We begin that renovation in the summer of '26. From and again, I'll talk about our experience, since this is not a new construction, this is a renovation of our already existing space. We expect the renovation to take the summertime, and we think if everything falls into place, on the 25th of August, which is your first day of school, because I was actually paying attention to your meeting, we should be able to launch initial services. Now, you never know what's going to happen when you start knocking down walls, okay? So we want to caution you a little bit about that, but we believe that we could start our initial launch at some point early, if not on the first day of school, 26, 27, and then it becomes up to you how you expand services. To give you an idea, we start with those initial services in a place that we did some work for over the years. They now do taxes for senior citizens. They do legal work for senior citizens and for citizens in general. They do educational programs. They help parents fill out FAFSA forms. They help with tutoring programs, and so on and so on and so on. It depends on where you guys want to go with the process. And what are the challenges? So we talked about the renovation costs, potential surprises. One never knows. And the gentleman from TDA was talking about sewer drains and so forth. We built a campus where Julie and I were last at, and it's amazing how expensive underground can become. You know, so there's always those potential surprises. And then there's always the chance of securing that sustainable funding for the renovation. We don't have a guarantee from anybody. We're pretty confident, no guarantee. And then something that we didn't think about when we started down this path was community awareness and engagement. We thought, I'll just tell a quick story. We thought upon building one of these, the community would fall in love with us and the idea. We thought wrong. Communities are suspicious. They don't always know what's going to happen. So with marketing and helping people understand what's going on, we try to get in front of those kinds of things. But there's always the chance that people will say, wait a minute, what are you bringing into our community? And how's this going to work for our community? And until they learn that what we're bringing into the community are service and supports for your neighbors, for your friends, for the boy who sits next to your daughter in math class, or the girl who plays soccer with your daughter, that's what we're bringing into the community. And then we want to ensure consistent family participation. That becomes critically important. Our first year in opening one center, we opened for physicals in the summertime. 2 people showed up because they didn't believe it was possible that you can get athletic physicals for free. Last summer, 250 students showed up for athletic physicals. So it's a process that takes some time, and it comes with its share of challenges. The sustainability model, I think we already talked about, and we talked about Medicaid reimbursement, eligible services. We talked about the lease agreements and foundation and grant funding. That's okay? Yep. And then the expansion over time. What we learned about funding and grant funding over time is once you build it, once people say it works, I won't say they don't throw money at you, but I would tell you, you write a grant and you have something already in place, foundations want to give you money and to continue to sustain these kinds of programs. And of course, we always want ongoing community engagement. This is a process. Among the things we did, we marketed through social media, we marketed through print media. We even, in one case, we used the back of buses, public transportation, to market the system. So here's who we are, okay? And obviously, we will respond to anybody who has questions for us, and we will take any suggestions and ideas, and we'll bring those forward to Dr. Lombardo and his team, and for members of the board, questions you may have.
How many of these projects have you done?
We're on 2.
2?
Okay.
And where does your funding come from? I mean, do you take cuts of the grants, or if all we're paying is for turning the lights on, where do you guys get your?
Our funding comes from you.
From the school?
Yes.
Thank you.
So we're currently using what's called DPIA funds, which are funds that are targeted funds for projects like this.
Other questions?
Any kind of proposals that you're getting, are you guys getting multiple ones on far as the scope of the work?
We do. We are agency agnostic. What our job is to get the best deal and the best service for you, and not, the best or the deal from the people we work with last. Okay, so we're agency agnostic. We are always most interested in the local community, but if somebody has a better situation, a better circumstance, we would recommend that to you. And by the way, we don't make those decisions. We make those recommendations to you to make those decisions.
This would not, we worked hard to get counseling in all of our buildings. This would not affect any building level counseling, correct?
No, it would not. In fact, I talked with your building level people, their case managers. They suggested to us they already don't have enough help to meet the need, which is pretty standard practice. The other thing, school counselors, this is not the work of school counselors. This is much more sophisticated work, and school counselors are busy people. Mm-hmm. They can't take on that kind of process.
Perfect.
So
Anything else?
we have community counseling in right now in the buildings, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So currently we have community counseling in our buildings. I'm not talking about our guidance counselors that are employed by the district. So would community counseling then work hand in hand with Signature Health?
So community counseling.
Would they work together?
Right. Community counseling has become or is becoming Ravenwood.
They are Ravenwood now.
Okay,
Okay,
I
right.
think that has happened.
It did.
Okay, so
It has happened.
we've
So
talked.
that's
yeah.
what I'm wondering. Will they work together?
We have talked to Ravenwood, and we've talked to, in fact, Paul and Jen and Crystal were with us when we talked to Jonathan Lee. They are happy to work together.
Okay,
And
good.
our experience with Signature is they will work with anybody to make it work for people. Because I don't think there's any one agency, and I don't think this is a stretch, that has all the capacity they need to meet the needs of people.
I would concur. I just didn't want one service coming in to cancel out the other because we need them all.
We agree.
Okay, I just wanted to, okay.
Okay?
Do we have to make that house ADA compliant as we're renovating, or will it be with the upper level, lower level? Because I know that was part of our use issue in the past, was the expense of doing that.
That's in the hands of the architects.
Okay.
And that may happen. And interestingly enough, as a direct result of our meeting with Family and Children's First Council, the Ashtabula County Developmental Disabilities Organization has grant money to do that in addition to whatever renovation costs we have. Now, we did write into the state capital grant enough money to do an ADA compliance kind of thing, an elevator or a lift of some sort. But if that were to come up short, we already talked to Ashtabula County DD, and they're happy to try to help with that as well.
Can you talk a little bit about your thoughts on the parking lot situation? Because I'm with you, parking on the road is not going to be an option up there.
The initial architect's thoughts is a driveway that would take you around the back of the building, asphalt back there, okay, and then walkways to the two areas. Now, and I'm speaking personally and for Julie, we would expand some parking right in the front for I'll say the employees of the center. So when the nurse practitioner gets to work in the morning, she or he would pull into there and park there. But for the clients, they would park around the back.
Okay.
And that's included in the grant request as well.
Okay.
Because we knew that was an issue.
Okay.
And actually, Dr. Lombardo pointed that out to us. And the first time Julie and I went over, we parked in the front and then backing out, and not my favorite.
Yeah, not good.
So yeah, that's what their separate driveway.
Okay, excellent. Awesome.
I love it.
Yeah, I want to thank you both. I've known Joe for years and years and years. Won't say how many, and Julie, and just outstanding educators, care about kids and communities, and I couldn't be happier partnering with you on this. So I really appreciate you guys. I truly do.
Thank you, and thank you all for listening this evening. And again, if we could do anything for you, please let us know, and we will we'll do our best to meet your needs. We work for you, and we're happy to work for you.
And as, just so everyone knows, as questions come in, whether you email Joe or me, we will develop a frequently asked question sheet so then everyone can see the questions that are coming in and then the responses. And of course, that will be under, your guidance and what's acceptable to the board and Dr. Lombardo. So,
Great, thank you.
Thank you so much.
oh, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we do have our school presentation. So our middle school, it says middle school elementary, which is not right. It's just middle school. So Mr. Markajohn, you want to come up? Or no? Well, come on down.
He's waiting until.
Oh, you're waiting. Okay, good.
Mr. Hayes, can you hear me back there? Oh, good. So, first of all, thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about the middle school. The assistant principal of the middle school, Ms. Carnett, she had a family emergency and wasn't able to come. And she was going to talk to you a little bit about our attendance and what we're working on with that. And she has just done an amazing job working on our attendance and coming up with initiatives to help support our students to come every day, a lot of positive reinforcement for them. So I'll get a chance to talk about that just a little bit, not nearly as well as she would have done. Our first goal is to increase achievement at the middle school. And I have a bunch of slides that I'm going to show you that are unfortunately maybe a little bit negative. And before I go any further, I just want to make sure that the board and our community understands that we have amazing teachers at Geneva Middle School, an amazing support staff, and most importantly, we have incredible students that work hard. And the scores that you're going to see truly is not a good representation of how hard these students work. And we're hoping that when our scores come out at the end of the year, it's going to be better, and we're going to keep growing each and every year. But our first goal is to go ahead and increase our state test scores by an average of 5%, hopefully to meet or exceed the state average. I can tell you right now, if you take a look at elementary scores in 5th grade and what percent is proficient compared to 6th grade, it drops almost 15%. So does the average in the state. The average in the state also drops significantly from 5th grade to 6th grade, whether that's a transition year, whether the test is harder, but both in math and ELA, it drops significantly. Regardless, most of our scores in the elementary are at or above the state average. That is not the case at the middle school. We need to go ahead and get to state average or hopefully above. We want to be able to exceed that. So that is our goal, and that's our focus. And I'll share with you a few of the things that we're doing this year to make that happen, and some of the things that we're going to try next year to continue down that path. The next piece is talking about collaboration amongst our staff. And right off the bat, I can tell you that our TBTs that are occurring every other week for about a 40 to 45 minute time period has made a huge change in that, and I'll mention a little bit more here in a second. And then our third goal is about attendance and how we can go ahead and fix that chronic absenteeism rate. Chronic absenteeism is when a student misses 10% of the school year for any reason. No matter what, doesn't make a difference. If they miss school for any reason, excused, unexcused, any reason, if they hit that 10% mark, they count as a student towards your chronic absenteeism. And the middle school has a percentage that's just about double that of what the state is trying to go ahead and get. And all of our schools are working towards that, and I'll explain a little bit, not nearly as well as Ms. Carnett would have, though, I can guarantee you. Here are some of our scores in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade from last year. It says how many tests were proficient, the number of tests taken, the percent of proficiency, and what it is compared to the state. As you can see, we are below that state average in a number of those. If you see the math in grade 8 and that 29.7%, please understand that all of our algebra students, so there's about 60 or so students that are not included in that are part of the algebra test. So that 29% is quite low, and it really, hopefully would get it a little bit higher than that, but that is missing about 60%, or excuse me, about 60 students that are in our advanced, our algebra, our high school level class in 8th grade, getting high school credit for that. Once again, we have great teachers. We got a couple of new teachers to the middle school this year that we are so excited about, that are past Geneva graduates, that are really doing an amazing job for us. And one's math, one's ELA. We're hoping that that's going to make a difference along with the people that we already have in place. This is just a breakdown of each one of the test scores and what that average scaled score was at the state and what it is for the district. So, for instance, in English 6, language arts, the average score of the state was 702. We were at 695. So we're below in what that average score is, and we're below in what the average percentage of passing is. Mathematics, similar. Here is a trend of 6th grade students dating back to 3rd grade. So you can see the 3rd grade test, the 4th grade test, bless you, Mrs. Cybulski.
Thank you, Mr. Marcus.
The 5th grade test, and then you can see the drop-off as we get to that 6th grade test. Once again, the state average does a similar drop, but we're down further than where we want to be, that's for sure. Here's the math, similar, same students, different grades, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. 7th grade ELA, state and the district. 7th grade math, relatively similar scores. You can see in this one that we are actually a hair higher in 6th grade, in 7th grade than they were in 6th grade. So we start to improve a little bit in 7th grade compared to 6th. 8th ELA, math, same thing. Our district is below the state average. And for ELA, our score went up in 7th grade and came back down in 8th grade. And that's our scores from last year. Those are our current, those 8th graders would be our current 9th graders right now at the high school. Just to give you an idea, some people like to know what it was like before COVID, life before COVID. These are our scores, and I just picked 7th grade rather than doing one. Here's 7th grade math. What our scores were, our average score was close to 720, about 718. That's back in 2017. 710 was the average score in 2019, and then about 698 last spring. So, we expected to go ahead and fall after COVID, but at this point, we need to start coming, the bounce back should have occurred, and we need to start working that back up. Here's a little bit of good news. Last year, our district decided to go ahead and go with NWA MAP as a assessment to take 3 times a year. The students take it 3 times of the year, fall, winter, spring. So far this year, we've taken it in the fall and the winter. And this is all of our grades put together. I can tell you that each and every one of our grades individually grew higher than 50% of what their expected was. So 56th percentile for growth. That's 6th, 7th, and 8th grade between the fall assessment and the winter assessment. This did not happen last year. So I'm hoping that this is a predictor of how we're going to do in the spring. This would also show a much higher percentage of passing if this truly is a good predictor of our state tests. The achievement back in the fall was we were at the 47th percentile for the whole school, then went up to the 52nd percentile. So clearly we had some growth in there, and really proud of the work that the kids put in, and you could tell that they tried really hard on this assessment. We'll do this one more time, but it'll be, when they take it for the 3rd time, it'll be after the spring assessment by the state is given. Some of the things that we are doing is IXL. This was something that we implemented last year. So the teachers like to have a program that the students can do that's at their level. So teachers can go ahead, and there's actually lots of really cool things that they can do with IXL in ELA and in math, but teachers can go ahead and assign work that's at the student's level. So they can take whatever level that they tested at from NWA MAP for their assessment, and then they can go ahead and do work that is at their level as we try to close that gap, because there's a big gap for some of our students between where they currently are and where we're trying to go ahead and teach at. Because one of the things our teachers have to do each and every day is they have to go ahead and teach the standards for that grade and subject matter for all the students. But not all of our students are at that level. Some students are a grade behind, some students are 2 grades above, some students are 4 grades below. How do we close that gap? The teachers are working on differentiating their instruction, using programs like IXL for those students to go ahead and grow. And I can tell you that I sat in an IEP meeting last week, and there was a student that grew 2.7 grade levels from the beginning of the year till now, starting to go ahead and close that gap. I'm not sure if it's working with every single kid, but it's working with a bunch, and it was nice to be able to go ahead and talk about that with that parent at that IEP meeting last week. These are some of the skills that our students have achieved so far in IXL. They've mastered almost over 9,000, became proficient in over 17,000, and have practiced well over 25,000 skills between ELA and math. We are trying hard to go ahead and have this integrated in our ELA and math classrooms, but not having it be something that they're doing all the time. We're looking like 20 minutes a week if they could use this to try to build this, but you work that foundation throughout the year so it sticks and hopefully keeps growing what they're doing. Some more data of information that they have mastered and are proficient in. Talked about our second goal was having our educators having time to go ahead and work together, to go ahead and grow and collaborate together. So we wanted to go ahead and try to make a 10% increase in that. I believe that we've exceeded that. The teachers were meeting as grade levels in the mornings once a week for about 20 minutes, and those meetings were good, but they're only so productive. Sometimes they turn into maybe some other issues that are probably good to be talked about, but they're not focused on student growth, student achievement, breaking down the data, how to go ahead and change instruction. Those kind of things have happened as these teachers have taken ownership of this TBT time and having 40 to 45 minutes of continuous collaboration every other week. It's starting to make a difference, and the ELA and math teachers have all taken that time to plan and then go over a checkpoint of past state test questions that not only gave the students the opportunity to manipulate questions the same way they will for the state test, but also gave them the opportunity to see how well they're doing in certain areas. And besides Mr. Odell giving the high school geometry test to the 8th grade algebra students, everything has gone really well with that. Mr. Odell couldn't figure out why his students scored 1 out of 10, but clearly it was material that they have never received since it was next year's material. Once he gave the correct test, he was pleased to find that they were averaging 8 out of 10 and not 1 out of 10. So congratulations to the algebra students. So a couple of things. First of all, I want to mention that we're doing extended learning at the middle school. We have sent out 3 invitations throughout the year. We're going to send out 1 more invitation to try to get more students involved in extended learning. I have anywhere between 3 to 6 teachers that are working after school Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for an hour and a half every day, and we are working on material that they're being taught now. We're working on material that they need help with for the state test, for enrichment, and we have high school students coming down to work on homework help. And we're doing everything we possibly can to give these students extra opportunities. At this point, we've had 58 students that have taken advantage of this, and on any given night, we're averaging about 26 and a half students at the middle school doing this. I think we would even have more, but transportation is definitely an issue. And, you know, clearly not having lots of bus drivers and parents sometimes working till late, there's no transportation sometimes for these students, for all of them to be able to join. But those that have, I think it's made a difference, and we're going to try to send that last invitation out. Hey, if you want a little bit of help as we get ready for that state test, come on out and get a little bit of help. We'll be doing ELA test first, and then science, and then math. But we have intervention specialists, we have math teachers, we have language arts teachers, we have science teacher, we have a science teacher that's there. So we're ready to help out these students, and I appreciate all of those teachers doing that and the parents that are getting their kids there for the extra help. Next year, we're going to a 7-period day. We're going from 8 periods to 7 periods. Right now at the middle school, there are 8 periods, and almost every student has 2 study halls, and there just is not a lot of great work that's happening in these study halls. So we're going to drop that down so students can have 1 study hall, up to 1 study hall. We're also trying to give them more choices. Currently, the middle school students, they switch their specials. They have them for 9 weeks, and then they switch every 9 weeks. So those specialist teachers will end up with every single student for the year. We're switching that around a little bit. We are going to do art, gym, and tech for semesters. We're actually going to be doing semesters with everything, but students will do art in 6th and 8th grade. They will do tech in 7th and 8th grade, and they will do gym in 6th and 7th grade, all for semesters. So they'll go a grade without having one of those. However, by the end of their middle school career, they will have had one extra 9 weeks than they would have. So for gym, you'd have 9 weeks the 6th grade, 9 weeks 7th grade, 9 weeks in the 8th grade, for a total of 3 9 weeks. Now you're going to get 2 semesters or 1 full year between 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Doing those semesters, that's the most that I can give based on the teachers that we have in our building. So trying to go ahead and get more time so that they can go a little bit deeper into some of these areas. Most importantly, the 7-period day will turn our periods from 40 minutes to 48 minutes. So if you ask the teachers back when the scores were a little bit higher before COVID, they're going to talk about, well, we had double periods of math and double periods of ELA. We just don't have the staff that would allow that to happen. At that point, we also were doing overages in classes, and most of the classes were well over 30 to be able to make that happen. So we had more teachers, and we were paying overages for teachers for that to go ahead and happen. So this is hopefully a compromise, and we'll see how it works. I can do the math, and I know it's not exactly the same, but if you get 8 extra minutes times 5 days a week, 8 times 5 is 40, so it's like you're getting 1 extra period a week compared to what we were getting this year. I'm hoping that that could make some difference in all of those core classes to move that needle in the direction it needs to go for higher passing. Also, it should allow for some of our specials to go ahead and go a little bit deeper, be able to finish projects or labs that they're working on. So that's what we're going to try, and I'm hoping that it works. We went out to all the elementaries for 5th grade scheduling. We talked about student achievement with the Restart Readiness checkpoints, IXL, NWA MAP, trying to go ahead and align the curriculums, and I think we're moving towards figuring out what our math curriculum is going to be next year, and that should be a huge, huge help. Our teachers are talking about this during their TBT time, project-based learning. Special education. We have not been able to fill some positions in special ed. Working with Dr. Lombardo and Mrs. Chabi and Dr. Brisky, hoping to go ahead and have some things in place next year for special ed. Right now, our people have overages, and they're working really hard with our students, but some of our scores on our tests for special education are quite low, and we really need to go ahead and do a better job, and we're going to prioritize how we're working with those students and giving those teachers every opportunity to help them. And most importantly than everything right now is just trying to have some meaningful fun for the students at Geneva Middle School, giving them some ownership of the building, have some Eagle pride, let that grow inside of them. We are trying to do field trips with all 3 grades this year. 8th grade is going to Columbus. Excuse me, 8th grade is going to Washington, D.C. 7th grade, we're looking at going to Columbus on May the 12th. And we're trying to take the 6th graders to the Great Lakes Science Center. We had a date in May, and there's 2 other things that are happening on that date now, so we have to go ahead and move that. So parents of our 7th and 6th graders we will be sending out information before spring break. So just trying to go ahead and make some meaningful opportunities for our kids, because I tell you what, they deserve it. Goal number 3 was just to help out with the attendance, and I can bore you guys with House Bill 410 and tell you that the focus has been for us not to have excessive absences and for us to go ahead and limit our habitual truancy. House Bill 410 has been adjusted slightly, and regardless of that, the number that we are working towards is that chronic absenteeism, and we are trying to get that as low as we can. So we're trying to do a more focused effort with Mrs. Church, who helps out with all of the schools in attendance. She's like our attendance officer for the district, and she does a great job working through that and helps each one of us out. But we are trying to go ahead and focus and not have these students reach that. Once again, we've had incredible incentives that Ms. Carnett put together, weekly raffles for gift cards, snacks, and some GMS swag, monthly grade level challenges, Spirit Day, free homework pass. These kids love this free homework passes. I wish they had that when I was to school. Dance parties, free period, extended lunch period. Those are all monthly challenges that we're having. The 6th, 7th, and 8th graders compete against each other. And we're trying to do a perfect attendance for the 4th 9 weeks. We've celebrated this, but we're trying to keep kids from hitting that 10% absenteeism marker. If we can keep from hitting that marker, they won't be considered chronic absenteeism, which will help our overall number and help them, because quite frankly, if you're there, you're getting the education. But we're trying to do something that they could go to the Geneva Public Library, and the public library has just so much amazing space in there now, and talking about letting them bake cookies, the gaming area, maker space for maybe that last week of school once June comes along. And then this isn't my slide. This is Dr. Lombardo's. Thank you for your attention and questions. So Dr. Lombardo must want to answer some. No?
I think you're still up.
Everybody, the 3rd Wednesday in April, guess what suit jacket you're going to see?
Not this one.
No? No? Are there any questions I can answer for you guys? I'm sorry if I was long-winded. I promised that I wouldn't talk long, but I always talk too long.
We look like we're behind in several areas. Just to be clear, most of those numbers were from last year's test, correct?
All of those numbers are from last year's test.
So I have every faith, Mr. Market-John, that you're going to raise that bar a little bit for us. Sounds like you're doing some wonderful stuff over there.
We're going to try. There's, once again,
You and your staff, excuse me.
the people that are working there and the kids, they deserve better, and they're truly awesome. Very, very lucky to be part of that, and we hope to go ahead and make some strides this year and then for years to come.
Thank you.
Mr. Market-John, our test last year came almost directly after spring break, did they not?
They do just about every year.
Just about every year. Since about 2021, they changed that schedule, which seems almost like it lines up perfectly with the test scores and overall 9.6% drop the state has seen overall that they're asking you to fix, even though they're mandating that schedule. Thank you.
Correct. Anybody else?
I appreciate it, Tony. Thank you.
Don't give it to Brock.
Foiled again.
All right, ready for the financial report?
We are. I guess first we'll take a motion in a second.
Motion.
I'll second. Discussion?
So real quick, I just want to, I guess, if you just want to throw that down, I just want to go to the overall page, and I kind of just want to talk through
you tell me where to go?
Yep, right there is good. What 1 month can do to when you look at the page one. So again, this is from the February forecast that we passed, and like all of a sudden 1 month has passed, and you're saying we're already almost $1.4 million favoring negative since the forecast from last month, right? Again, I try not to be that bad on the forecast, but it's called timing. So we did not get in February our third installment of the real estate taxes. No one in the county did. The county is behind. They are saying, I think every county was late on the billings that went out due to the changes in all the House bills. So we are behind, and even as of today, I have not received that third installment. So when we come next month, when that third installment is made, our year-to-date numbers will be back on target again. But again, we're kind of just comparing it to last year as the top slide. The top slide is moving money into the capital improvement fund, so that's where you're going to see that large $7 million fluctuation and then going down. But everything other than that going forward is right on key to what we've forecasted. But if you have any questions when you do receive the report, please go ahead and ask on, why there are some differentials. And what I'll start doing going forward from now is sticking in some extra notes. A lot of these notes are pre-generated from the forecast software and the comparative software, so I will go ahead and stick some notes in, again, stating maybe that, something is running late as compared to previous years or previous months.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Anybody?
Ready?
You guys good?
Yep.
Roll call.
Okay, Mrs. Krieg?
Yes.
Mr. Pierson?
Yes.
Mr. Andrus?
Yes.
Mr. Cooper?
Yep.
Mrs. Cybulski?
Yes.
Okay, short month
Donations?
for me tonight. I need a motion and a second to approve donations.
So moved.
Second?
So we just want to recognize the athletic capital campaign donations we've received since I reported last time. So within that month period, we've received an additional $3,075 towards the athletic capital campaign, which is a total of $4,185 that we have received so far.
Hey.
Great.
All right. Roll call.
Mr. Pierson?
Yes.
Mr. Andrus?
Yes.
Mr. Cooper?
Yep.
Mrs. Cybulski?
Yes.
And Mrs. Krieg?
Yes. All right. Legislative report.
Can you hear me, Mr. Hayes?
Nope.
Lost him. I don't have much in the way of updates. We have a lot of symbolic bills that they're going to try to pass. Yeah. You should just aim it away from the speaker. It should be fine. We do have some interesting federal proposals to eliminate the federal Department of Education, which we knew from the guidelines of Project 2025 would be coming. But the lawmakers are scrambling because they don't know how they will collect student loan payments if they were to do that. So currently, the Democrats and some Republicans are fighting another subsect of Republicans, and it doesn't look like that will actually happen. But they're talking about it at length. I do want to take time. Last week, I saw an update where our students had went to Columbus to speak with one of our state representatives. I think both state representatives. So one represents, there are two chambers in Congress. Typically, you have your Congress people who, based on population, represent you, and then you have your Senate, which is typically two representatives per an area. So in the federal level, we have that representation, and then based on population, you can still be heard, and it allows basically a huge compromise to occur. If you're a senior, you're sick of hearing this, but what it does is it allows equal voices to be heard. The the governor gave a State of the State address in which they talked about a multitude of things, doubling recess, allowing more excused absences to occur so people can hit that 10% number that Mr. Mark John was just talking about more easily. But one of our own representatives was interviewed actually by the Columbus Dispatch and others, and I want to quote him. "I don't focus on kids. It, being the speech, didn't really excite me," end quote. He had met with our students that week, and that was the quote that he had made. I'm still appalled by it. It would be humorous, I think, in another timeline. But currently, we're seeing sliding test scores all over the state. I believe the average is 9. I'm quoting off the top of my head. I believe it's 9.6. But if I'm wrong, then let me know. But one of the things that I have a problem with is someone who hasn't contacted the legislative liaison once in my entire tenure. I don't know what these laws being passed are for. I don't know what students are asking for these problems to be solved. I don't see the taxpayer being enriched. We saw our property values soar when this person was our auditor, and now it's just, at this point, a collaborative collapse of public education. I see attempts to create a public resource center, crickets, nothing. Our students go down and we're all there to take pictures, but when it comes to actually showing up and helping us escape the throes or mentors issue right now, I believe you've seen, no one is there to be found, but we're passing on horrible lessons for our students and then asking ourselves why the test scores are low. And I think that I would challenge the lawmakers in my meeting and my analysis of what's going on. I'm not reading any bills here that look like they're being made by people who understand children, who understand education, who understand the way that a family dynamic works. I don't understand how one of the Senate bills is going to legalize affirming gender. I thought that they banned that. I guess now it's legal. I don't see what problems that are being solved largely, and I would challenge our local representatives. If you would like to ask our children to have higher test scores, then I would probably write better bills that meet just the basic guidelines of 1, Robert's rules, 2, the confines, vernacular, grammatical guidelines of the English language, and 3, if you're going to run for an elected position, you probably should represent the people of which who have elected you, instead of racing to figure out which APAC, APC, FYP, Super PAC can buy you the most lobster dinners. That's all I have.
All right, the ATEC report. So it looks like there were 74 Geneva students accepted into a program of their choice for the 26-27 school year. ATEC received the Auditor of State Award for the 8th year in a row, and the YO program was recognized with the Community Partnership Award by the Ohio Association of Senior Centers a few weeks ago. ATEC start date for the 26-27 school year will be on August 19th, so slightly earlier, I think a week earlier than our first day. So that's our ATEC report. Board member reports for this month. Anybody have anything you want to chime in on?
I did a walk around the last big storm that we had. We got all that rain, flooding, and all of our basins around different schools were all flowing wonderfully. And where our new sports complex is, the pipe was maybe a quarter of the way flowing after a big, huge rain event. So just want to say we're looking good there.
I want to touch a little bit on the stadium also. I ran across one of my former students that I coached track last year, and I was asking them how track season was going, and my heart was broken when I found out that because of the schedule, they're no longer doing track. The young person had to work. And we have a lot of our children out there like that. So I want to pat all you guys on the back for forwarding this. That student, the track team depends on for points. moreover, that student, thrives in track and possibly at one time, maybe get a scholarship or something, partially, or fall in love with it enough to go to college. And here, they can't do it because of the timing. So I think we're definitely moving in the right direction, and I applaud that because next year they'll be able to, or the year after they'll be able to attend. So also I want to make sure that we're having input from our athletic director on our field as far as the movement of shots and discs and that type of thing. I think it's important to get their intake, if we haven't, to make sure that we understand, and our track coaches, and understand what the movements of some of our facilities may look like. That's it. Thank you.
Do you have anything, Mrs. Cybulski?
I just want to say how excited I am about all these field trips I keep hearing about. I am a big believer that our students need to leave the buildings, and we have a lot of students in our district who may never leave a 10-mile radius of their home if we don't take them. And you can't dream if you don't know. And I just think it's phenomenal. I love hearing about these field trips that our kids are having the opportunity to do, and hopefully we can continue that from kindergarten all the way through. It's a passion of mine, it's important, and I'm so excited for our kids because these are the things that open their eyes to the world outside of Geneva, and allows them to dream about things they never thought about before. It's a huge part of education, and I'm so happy that we're continuing to provide that for our students. Winter sports wrapped up. We had lots of great seasons for many of our athletes, and thank you to all the hard work that our athletic department and our coaches put into our students. And the Quiz Bowl team did an awesome job at the Scholastic Bowl. We came home with the trophy, #1, so that was awesome to see that. And lastly, I just want to comment on how excited I am about the house. That house has been sitting there for a long time, and that's why we call it the house, because it's been there so long. That's the only name I think it's ever had. What are we going to do with the house? Now we know, and it's going to be a community connector. This is going to connect our greater community to our schools, and communities thrive when you can have your schools connected to your community. So to me, this is huge. It's so important for our community, and I thank everyone who's had a part in bringing this to our community, and I'm so excited. I think that's all I have.
Excellent.
Mr. Pierson, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
I did.
Go ahead.
I wanted to say that I spent the past month focusing almost entirely on talking to students and just asking them about what they're up to, what their challenges have been. And I just wanted to briefly stop and thank the students I was able to talk to. We talked about sports, the arts, curriculum, hating math, which is a shared opinion I also have, albeit I'll have to use it every day anyway. And what I'm hearing is positive. From high school students, I'm hearing that most feel engaged enough. But the biggest complaint that I've had is, one, students don't feel like adults take them seriously or listen to them, instead prescribe them a multitude of solutions to problems they are not having. For instance, most kids actually like in-hand books to carve up the side of the margins, to mark up the page with a highlighter to read it, and are not served well by certain technological aspects like Chromebooks, and actually voice concerns with an inability at times to even want to report problems with the devices, because they'll either be hit with a fine or an insurance claim, and then also have that be down that they've realized that they can just pretend that it works. And in that, I want to tell, one, the students that we hear them, and two, I want to briefly just say, I'm very happy that we are looking at involvement, that there are students that come up here and tell us about, for instance, Tanner going to state. Our sports have been seeing amazing improvements, and while it's a slow grind to learn how to read, and it's easy to have people look at the percentages that you slide, while maybe there's not a bigger ability to read or to understand trigonometrics, there is a large student population that is superlative, meaning the best of the best, at becoming what they are, whether it's an athlete or a musician. I see someone in the audience I talked to about music actually recently in a coffee shop speaking about those conversations, who's talking about composing music and in some cases recording by themselves. These aren't just people playing a trumpet and marching down a field. They're learning amazing concepts, the gold standard of production in their free time for fun. And we're having problems getting them to have high scores on math. It sounds like a school problem, right? I mean, we're talking about balancing tracks, cutting time, understanding that as a concept, as a fraction, converting that into a million different things. You have your people who are counting statistics and running that through for the sports we have. I know the people who calculate swim scores are crazy accurate. It's like a competitive sport for them. And so I want to take a second, because I know some of our presentations seem like we're beating these standardized test scores to a pulp, but we understand there are other concepts that are much more intriguing and can get those test scores up. You guys just have to be patient, because the state, the government at large, they always move way too slow. It's a symptom of just what it is. And I want to take time to step away from that and commend those students on just who they are becoming, and who they will become for a second, without saying everybody's great or a pat on the back. Because it's going to take the state a second to figure out how to meet you guys where you are, and to boost up, especially looking at math and especially looking at ELA, which is going to be reading and spelling ultimately, and to take a step away and putting all of that in context for them. That's all I have.
So to kind of piggyback on what Brock said, some of the things that I wanted to highlight, I'll start with Dr. Lombardo arranged for several of, I didn't get to attend this, I really wanted to, hopefully I'll get out there eventually, but for several members of our leadership team to head to Mayfield City Schools to get a look at their, it was called a Big Ideas Showcase, and it's what their model of I'm going to read to you a little bit about it, what it is, but it was meeting students where they are, how Mayfield is transforming education. Imagine a school where students don't just sit and listen, they own their learning, explore real-world careers, and graduate ready for anything. At Mayfield High School, that's not the future, it's happening right now. From self-paced classes to cross-curricular adventures, from learn and earn paychecks to industry credentials, MHS students are leading, creating, and thriving. At Mayfield, we're not just talking about education, we're showing what's possible when a team believes every student can be extraordinary. So under the leadership of their superintendent, Mayfield is moving from portrait to practice, designing learning experiences that meet students where they are and helping them discover where they can go. This approach is simple but powerful. It gives students multiple ways to learn, connects school to the real world, and surround them with adults who believe in their potential. Students can learn through traditional instruction, move at their own pace in self-directed classes, explore cross-curricular courses that connect ideas across subjects, or thrive in the option, which is a flexible full-day program built around relationships and personalized learning. The learning doesn't stop at the classroom door. Through programs like Excel Tech and Learn and Earn, students are gaining industry credentials. Learn and Earn is where they're literally being placed in jobs and earning a paycheck. They're making a living, they're learning the trades, they're working. The results, students are growing. Sorry, I'm reading from the bottom line is the kids are getting out there, they're working, they're learning, and they're ready to hit the ground running when they graduate. So to have Dr. Lombardo see that and value that, and then take our leadership team there to have a look at it and see what that looks like is huge. And to piggyback on what Mr. Pierson said, here's hoping the state catches up one day, because that's what we're looking at for our students. That's what we want for our students. And those types of things are never, ever going to be quantified or measured in a standardized test. So here's hoping at some point the state of Ohio and every state will finally catch up with that at some point. But I see in the very near future that
Yes.
happening here in Geneva Area City Schools. So that's going to be super exciting. Also, to piggyback on what Mrs. Cybulski said, the House, so excited to have this in our community. It's going to be amazing to link arms with other professionals and provide services to our families, our students, our community, all the things that we are needing here. When I look at all of the things Geneva already has to offer to our families, there's just a few little spots that we need to fill in some gaps, and this is going to be a huge one. So I'm really looking forward to that. Shout out to the theater department on their production over the past weekend, amazing. Winter sports, I know Mrs. Cybulski highlighted that as well. Wrapped up that whole season, and we're moving right in, trucking into spring, but not before we had, another snow day and ice and snow. Wanted to mention the Superintendent's Advisory Committee. I don't know, this I think overlap, but they did reading buddies in all the elementary schools. We're still pushing out things of that. I know they went to, I think, you know what, maybe they didn't get to GPS. I think that was the one we talked about. They were at Cork, they went to Austenburg. I think there was kids that were sick and didn't make it to GPS, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But that was super fun. They planned activities and went and taught and read to the kids at the elementary schools. Most of them went to the schools that they attended, so that was kind of fun too. Congratulations to Quiz Bowl, way to go. In all my time, I've never had a kid on a Quiz Bowl. So that's a new adventure. I've never enjoyed that one.
It's fun.
But yeah, so congratulations to everybody. It's been really an amazing school year. I can't believe we're 2/3 of the way through, getting ready to start the fourth quarter, but here we go. So way to go, everybody. Anything else? All right. At this time, we're going to move into an executive session. The board will hold an executive session for the purpose of considering, preparing for, conducting, or reviewing negotiations or bargaining sessions with public employees concerning their compensations or other terms and conditions of their employment. All matters discussed in all executive sessions are designated to the public officials and employees as confidential pursuant to revised code 102.03B because of the status of the proceedings and/or the circumstances under which the information will be received, and preserving its confidentiality is necessary to the proper conduct of government business. I need a motion, please.
A motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Andrus.
Yes.
Mr. Cooper.
Yes.
Mrs. Cybulski.
Yes.
Mrs. Krieg.
Yes.
And Mr. Pierson.
Yes.
Motion carries. There will be no new business after the executive session. Have a good evening.